Welcome folks to the Roadster Rumble round 1 tonight. Season number 6, we are back tonight live from Catalunya in the MX-5. 2 classes of MX-5s this time out. We've dropped the Group C, it's just Group A and Group B now. We'll see them with the blue banners and the grey banners for this 8-round Season 6 series. 1 drop round for all competitors, which will be fantastic. Some new little interesting race facts too, with an incident point. Every incident point that you accrue after the first 5 will result in you losing 1 championship point. And if you complete any race, if you complete the race with 0 incident points, you'll receive 5 bonus championship points. So competition is heating up here for the Roadster Rumble. Let's take you down to the track now and we'll pick up the MX-5s as they start to do a few laps around here in qualifying. About 4 minutes to go. You can see the qualifying times up on your screen at the moment. Jack Boyd, we're picking up where he left off last season, out in front, and just on a 2-minute lap tonight. The races will be 20 minutes per race. 3 of them we've got coming up, 3 sprint races per round, and some of the rounds will have a 1-hour endurance race as well, with the drivers competing for 1 hour straight. It is lone qualifying, by the way, so as we flick between cars, you'll notice no one else on the racetrack. Brad Wood at the moment is the Direct Clutch Motorsport's leading driver in Group B, ahead currently of Keith Logan, who's stepped up into Group A for this series and this season. So it's looking good. Good to be back with the MX-5s, and a little bit easier to keep a managing hold on. Only 2 classes to watch out there as Boyd leads, Wooten leads Group B. If you're here to see someone in particular, as I always say, let me know in the chat so I can flick around and make sure those people are getting, all the airtime. Because really, if you're watching it live, or if you've got friends and family watching it live, we want to try and focus on those drivers. There's Jesse, currently P20 and sitting at the moment about 7th in class, I think. Looking at the order, Greg Holmes once again puts a mammoth amount of effort in to make this series what it is, and he's out there currently circulating 22nd position, about 8th or 9th in class at the moment, as Fenson goes 11th and Glenn Boyd goes up into 8th place. Brenton Hobson, who has been a regular crowd favourite over the previous 5 or so seasons of the Roadster Rumble, currently P2 and trying to push a lap out here on his final run around this Catalunya circuit. Cars making the right noises, they sound good, don't they, MX-5? The 2 types of cars we've got this season, Group A will be the 2016 Cup car, and Group B the 2010 Cup car. Caleb Patterson in the house says hello again. Family is watching on the big TV. Hello to the family. And who are you here to see, Caleb? As we look out there, I'm sure it's you. You're up in P3. Hello, Caleb. Well done, mate. P3 for Patterson Racing. And we've got Graham Ellis saying, have a good stream. Thanks, mate. Looking forward to this one tonight. As I say, it's been a little while. We've come from a season break. Glenn Boyd popping and crackling as he slows the car down. Looks like he's done qualifying too. So most drivers have now finished their qualifying runs, and we'll get a full rundown shortly of that grid order for the race 1 tonight. And it will be standing starts, so it's something a little bit different for this season as well. Standing starts will be pretty exciting. They're not the hardest car to launch, the MX-5s. You give them full beans and slip that clutch out and hope for the best. Andrew Roberts for Frog Leap Racing, 36. He will start from near the rear of the grid at the moment. 38 of 39 competitors look like they're competing. We're just waiting on the last couple to finish this 50 seconds of qualifying. There is Keith Logan, Southern Cross Racing. The car looks great, and he is currently sitting in 14th place, just near the back of that Group A. So moving up from Group, I think he was in Group C. Keith, I hope I'm getting that right. Good supporter of the channel is Keith, and it looks like he's moved up to the top rankings of Group A now for this season. So welcome aboard. My name's Luke. I'll be taking you through the broadcast tonight, and shortly we will head down to race number 1, and we'll get it all underway here from Catalunya for the Roadster Rumble. So we grid up for race number 1. Jack Boyd takes pole position in this first race of the season. Hobson will start out of P2. Patterson will start from the second row with Oliver alongside him. Then it's Harrison and Ridley off the third row. Coleman and Boyd rounds out your top 8. Scott Baker and Simon Joel Smith to round out the top 10. Henry Fenson in 11th. Sean Boyd rounds out your top 12. 13th on the grid as we head over the page goes down to Matt Teresito down there in 13th with Keith Logan in 14th, and it's Andrew Dutch running at your top 15. Brad Wooten, the first of the Group B drivers, starts from 16th on the grid with Wayne Losh and Damien Seeger out of 18th place on the grid. A bit of a round 1 briefing going on right now. We'll just turn that down a little bit. Boyers 19th on the grid is Moroz with McMahon down in 20th place. Carriage starts from 21st with Greg Holmes 22nd. Then it's Connors and Canto rounding at your top 24. 25th on the grid is Foster with Ellis in 26th. It's Rasmussen down in 27th, Gordon in 28th, and it's Pears and Gugold round out your top 30. Thorne in 31st, Doherty 32nd, Paradiso down in 33rd with Linus in 34th. Then it's Rodkin and Roberts right down the back of the order now, 37th on the grid now in Caro. Ferguson Harrison didn't qualify to start from 39th, and Jamie Walker rounds out the top 40 for this round 1 of the Roadster Rumble. Get rid of the music, get set to go racing here as they rev their engines. We wait for a green light. They're keen to get going, and there is the green. We're underway here from Catalunya for round 1 of season 6 of the Roadster Rumble. I tell you what, Hobson got away perfectly and runs down the pit straight towards the first big braking zone. So Hobson leads Patterson, Boyd and Harrison. Scott Baker made up 2 spots. Simon Joel Smith also made up a couple of positions as they go down into the braking zone now. Big late lunge by a couple of drivers. Can we get through here cleanly? So far so good as they wind their way up the hill for the first time. Everyone being well behaved, the Group B drivers as well, all very considerate of each other in this first opening race. Hobson with about a 3-4 car length lead already is done. Oh, look at the cars going wide. Big slide from Jack Boyd. He hangs on to it and he brings it back onto the racetrack but drops back into the mid-pack. So big moment there for Boyd, dropping 14 positions. He's straight on the radio to race control, I think, to have a little bit of a look at that one. And did he get a helping hand? Hobson out in front, holding the gap at 0.3 of a second. He's got Caleb Patterson now right behind him. And Ridley and Oliver have just changed positions. A bit of a gap already forming between second and third position. There is Aaron Oliver at the moment in the Palmer's Penrite Sim Racing car. Oh, wow, Ridley sideways up the hill. These cars dance around. They tend to move around. These drivers tend to also know how to correct a good slide, and we love watching it down this back straightaway, the DRS zone from the F1. You can just see that gap opening at the front. Further back, I'm looking at Andrew Dutch, who's made up a stack of positions, hard on the brakes. They go into what is a bit of a place where they modify the circuit depending on whether it's Formula 1, MotoGP, and especially these last couple of corners as well. They just modify slightly depending on what category of car is racing. We are going around the old fast MotoGP flying last couple of corners here, which I love. I wish they'd still do this in Formula 1 because the amount of speed you can carry is incredible. They go around onto the pit straight to finish lap 1, 20-minute cap on the races, so we'll go close to time certain. It was a 2:07.3 from a standing start for Hobbo. Pretty decent. Wooten at the moment is still leading Group B. Keep an eye on that as Hobson about to make a move. Thought he was going to for a second there. He doesn't end up making that move. Let's go back and have a look at Wooten, who goes down the inside on Keith Logan.
That's for it. No reason to run that.
Losh is there. Now there's a little bit of Caleb.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to bump draft, mate. Usually gives a joy, so I don't know what happened. Sorry, mate.
So you could just hear that little comment. That was to do with the fact that Caleb's given a bit of a bump to Hobson, who's leading, to try and bump draft, push them away from the field. But it's given him a 4x. So what that means is 4 points against his driving now. If he gets 5 and beyond, he starts losing a championship point for every one past 5. So something that they may look back on, and drivers might be able to just put in a bit of a protest for those sorts of ones. But it's definitely unfortunate if Hobbo's already been clocked 4 points. Here's a look back at Henry Fenson, 9th place, up a couple of positions behind him, Simon Joel Smith and Dutch. Now what's happening to Moz? He's just dropped back a couple of spots to 17th in Group B, currently running 3rd in Group B. So there's Wooten out in front in the direct clutch motorsport car, then Losh behind him, Moroz and Seeger, and then Carriage, and then Raman is your top 5 or so in Group B. followed by Greg Holmes, and then Connors just behind him. There's Mooson then running in 24th, has made up 3 positions as well, as he's one of the Synergy Sim Racing drivers, a 221 Wave Run Performance car at the moment on the back of Anthony Connors. He's got Mark Foster challenging him from behind as well, and they're pretty close, aren't they? As we look forward, you can just see how sideways Connors got as he tries to attach himself to the back of Greg Holmes. And you've got Tyson Gorman, Andrew Pears back further in the field. Graham Ellis running 29th, has lost a couple of positions. He's got the bright green wheels on there, as you can see. He's being challenged at the moment by Dave Gurgol, who's just right behind him in 30th place. So back to the front, let's pick up your race leader, Synergy Sim Racing's Brenton Hobson, number 88, Hobbo 88, as we all know him. And these cars bark their way around this Catalunya circuit. Definitely loud on the onboards and not so loud offboard. Ray Morgan's in the house, says go to Ray's Racing. Only one Ray tonight, got to pick up the missus at the airport. Have a safe trip, mate. And Murph220 says cheers for streaming league. All good, man. Will Wilson's in the house. Hello, Will. There you go, mate, as we look back further into this little battle between Moroz, Seager for 17th place. They're chasing down Wayne Losh as well, but this battle is good, isn't it? The Group B cars, as we can see, represented by the grey banner next to their name, or the grey stripe next to their name. And your leaders at the moment up the top, Hobson leading Group A, Wooten leading Group B. And Jack Boyd moves up another position up the road. He is fighting back. He's up into 11th. I think he dropped back to 15th. Definitely some contact. Front right of that car has a bit of panel damage now. There was contact that threw him off the track on the opening lap. Interesting to see who that was with, or whether or not I can even scroll back. So lap 4 of 10. Fastest lap of the race goes to Owen Coleman, who crosses the line there with a 2-minute flat, 0.71. Like I said, timed races tonight, 10 lappers. Interesting to see if it calls it right on the 10 laps, or yeah, it should work out. It should get 10 laps in 20 minutes. Pretty close. Coleman at the moment up 2 positions. You can see from the gains. I'll just quickly put them up on the left-hand side of your screen. Who has made up spots? Doyle at the moment has made up 5 spots. There's a really good little battle going on between Benson, Joel Smith, Boyd and Baker. Check this out. See if we can get an overhead shot on this little run into the braking zone down the inside. Oh, look at the cars behind trying to sneak through as well. Oh, 3 wide. How good is this? 3 wide, and it looks like Simon Joel Smith is going to hang on there from Boyd, who tucks across. There's almost a bit of contact. There is some contact. Simon Joel Smith got roughed out of the way there from the chopper cam. You can see that.
The contact a little bit, please.
And he asked to lay off the contact a little bit. He got a bit of a rough up, didn't he? He kept it in the right direction, luckily, as we see Ridley and Coleman also going at it. And then the Boyds are getting together. Glenn Boyd at the moment just ahead of Jack Boyd. Good close racing. So we're on board with Glenn. I can feel the presence of Jack down the inside. He goes. And has he gone in deep? He's gone a 2-for-1 deal there, Jack Boyd. He goes through straight up into 6th place. So that was late on the brakes. He took Glenn and also Sean Doyle in one movement there. And you can see the right-hand side of the car all belted up. But he's now back into 6th place on the comeback trail here. Unfortunately, 6.5 seconds off the lead, but doing a really wonderful job to keep this alive opening round of the championship. You want to score some good points if you can. It's doing just that as we look back further. There goes your top 3, 4th and 5th is Coleman and Ridley. Then this battle pack. Get the words out, Luke. The battle pack with Boyd, Doyle and Boyd further back in the field. Interesting. Here's a look at them up the hill. You can just see you pick up the top three going through. Hobson, Patterson and Oliver just holding position. Then you got Coleman, Ridley. Back further, Sean Doyle, who's now got ahead of Jack Boyd, and they're fighting 3 or 4 cars once again, going together around the turn 3 up towards the top. And Sean Doyle will try and hold on here. They're going to splay out to nearly 4 wide into the braking zone. And let's jump on board here with, I think, Scott Baker might give us some good onboard running in this battle pack. Now he's got the Boyds in front getting together there. Meanwhile, Simon Joel Smith's all over his rear bars. Oh, down the inside. That was so deep on the brakes from Baker, and he got away with it. Meanwhile, in behind, you can hear the cars making all that noise. That's Henry Fenson moving his way through. So Fenson now on the charge, moves himself up into 9th. And how on earth did Boyd avoid that incident as Doyle continues to hold on to 6th place, up 6 positions, started P12. Fantastic run he's having tonight if he can continue on with this. It's letting the top guys get away. It's now 7.6 seconds between 1st and 6th place. You can see the top 5 covered by 2.5 seconds at the halfway point of this first race tonight. Group B still being led here by Brad Wooten. The gap out to 1.2 seconds now over Losh and Moroz as Harrison and Seeger battle over 18th place. Harrison goes ahead of Carriage now as well, and Seeger drops back in fact to 20th, lost a couple of positions there. Dylan Canto further back battling with Greg Holmes. Let's jump on board with Greg at the moment in the older 2010 MX-5. This is for Group B. And so you can just see he's currently with Rasmussen as well, who's just tucked up behind him, having a little bit of a look, carrying plenty of speed. As you can just see, they don't use the brakes too much. See the slight brake into the corner, and then you just balance the car and try and carry as much speed as you can through the mid corner and then onto the straightaway, because if you can get a good run, it will pay dividends all the way down that straight as we go back to this middle of the pack run between Simon Joel Smith, Fenson and Baker, and Dutch is on the back of this too. Let's jump on board with Dutch. You'll get a good shot of this. Let's have a listen. Back at the front, it's Hobbo still leading from Patterson. Hello to the Patterson family watching on the big screen too. Hobson leaves Patterson, and Oliver is just behind. We're going to jump on board here with Patterson. I think he's mounting a bit of an attack on Brenton Hobson right now. So let's jump into some visor cam and see what it looks like from the driver's perspective. So you'll get a good run down the pit straight here. Just watch the way he takes the apex, exits out nice and wide using all the track and more, and now we'll just tuck in into the slipstream here behind Hobbo 88. Will he lunge down the inside on this lap, or is he happy just to stay in position? Here he goes, having a look. Does he get the run done? He goes down inside. Well done. So Caleb Patterson now leads the race, lap 7. Nice clean overtake. Hobson will come back at him as they head up the hill. He's just been chipping away lap after lap there. Now, Aaron Oliver's also really attached himself to the back of this top 3. He's in for a chance tonight, at least for a podium, possibly a win. Meanwhile, will the top guys battle further back? Scott Baker still fighting here with Fenson. Ahead of them, Glenn Boyd as well. Simon Joel Smith in a good little battle. We go back all the way to Anthony Connors and Mark Foster. This is down in 26th and 27th in Group B. Some drivers way down the back here. Tyson Gordon's another one who has held 28th position throughout the race. Ray Mellis at the moment 2 wide here, fighting Ben Ferguson We look to the inside, doesn't pull it off yet. The Duo Motorsport car hangs on, but Graham Ellis got a great run through the mid corner and then went straight in front of him. Good overtake. Ellis now moves up into 30th place. Ferguson will go back down the inside and try and steal that position back. So they're having a good old scrap down here in the bottom half of the field. That's what we love to see. There is battles everywhere in this Roadster Rumble race number 1 tonight. At the front, can he hang on for a win? About to start lap 8, 3 to go at the end of this one. And Patterson currently holds the top step as he just touches the brake. You can see that little dab of the brake just to get the car settled, and then down the pit straight. So back to Lee Harrison. He's got some damage on that car. Big thanks to Lee too. Shared the stream tonight for the Palmer's Enright Sim Racing car. So we're going to give him a bit of airtime here. And right on board for half a lap or so with Lee. Listen to that throttle application. Just backing out there, getting the car to bite, the front end to bite. They tended to push a fair bit on those long loaded corners. Only reaching about 180 clicks into the braking zone. About 170 it was into this braking zone. Once again, the key is with these low-powered cars, just trying to hold and carry as much mid-quarter speed as you can, and then we'll see roll through the corner, accelerate down the next straight. So 15th at the moment. He is at the back of the Group A drivers. We've made up 10, lost 10 positions, and just stays ahead of Wooten by about 1.6 seconds at this stage. Back at the front with 2 and a bit to go. Hobson, I reckon, is just conserving energy here. Jump on board with him for a little bit, waiting for his time to pounce. He was upset earlier with Caleb giving him a little bit of a tap down the pit straight. What's he going to do here towards the end of this lap, and then one more after? Looking at the time, 16 minutes now, so we should get the final 2 laps in. It will come down to the iRacing gods, of course. If we cross the line now and don't get the white flag, we'll get 2 more, which will be good. Do just that. So the cross the line to start the penultimate lap of this first race. Hobson's getting a really good run, and here he goes down the inside. Hobson to take the lead again with 2 to go. What's Oliver thinking in the background? He's watching this. He's gonna, he saw the door open and almost went for a gap. Then Aaron Oliver holds on to P3 ahead of Ridley, who's now dropped back 2.7 seconds off the lead. So you would think something would have to happen, either a contact or an off track, for these 3 at the front to lose out. The sun pops out through the clouds as well. 28 degrees, partly cloudy is the track temp. 23 ambient is the ambient temperature out there today. Catalunya are currently just after 9:53 a.m. in the morning here in Spain, and everything looking very, very nice. Top 3 locked in a great little battle here. Further back, Glenn Boyd still fighting with Sean Doyle and Simon Joel Smith. Scott Baker's also on the back of there. You can see Jack Boyd has cleared off by about 10 car lengths. I don't think he's going to be able to do much more than that after that big slide at the opening corner. But this is a good battle to watch between Doyle, Baker, Fenton and Dutch. Also Glenn Boyd as well. Some different lines going on, some wide lines, some wily lines as well. Exciting as we look back at now Seeger, Carriage and McMahon on the back of Moz Moroz for 18th position.
Goes on, mate.
So to get the white flag, 1 to go here for our first race of the night. Hobson crosses the line in the lead. For how long though? He's going to go defensive here, try and block off any attempt from Patterson to get through. What will Patterson do in response? late on the brakes. Hobson is pretty good at being latest of the late breakers. Once again, this time the door was left open and Oliver thought about it, backed out once again. Up the hill we go. We're looking at your battle for the podium tonight in this first race of the new season. And Hobson by about a car length at the moment. Battle for fourth. You can see in the background there Ridley and Coleman. That'll be your next little battle pack, and then further back Jack Boyd. What could have been for Jack, I expect to see him there and thereabouts in the final 2 races tonight, because that unlucky opening lap incident for him really cost him what would have been a top 3 finish, no doubt. So Wooten still leads Group B as well in this final lap of race 1. Hobson and Wooten now 2 leaders in class respectively, as Simon Joel Smith once again attaches himself to Sean Doyle. This is for 8th place, still good championship points, and that's what's on offer tonight. You want to try and maximise that opening round of the series. See how many you can take home. Let's go back to the front though and finish out this lap. 0.3 of a second. I think Hobson's probably done enough now to win the race. Well, there's still a chance of a slipstream to the line, but at Catalunya they do have quite a short run to the start-finish line. And just a couple of corners to go. Caleb Patterson will try and stay as close as he can to the back of Hobson. And here we go. Important couple of corners now. It's through the second to last. Now the final corner. Hobbo sends it in, just touches the brake, balances the car, and he's going to hang on here and take a win in race number 1. It will be Hobson who will beat Patterson by 0.3 of a second, and Oliver takes out your top 3. Great finish to our first race of the evening. Ridley gets 4th ahead of Coleman. Jack Boyd will come home in 5th. Look at the battle in the background. It's Glenn Boyd, then it's Shane Doyle. Simon Joel Smith crossing line ahead of Baker in the end. Fenson will just lead out Dutch and Tisserero, who gets 13th place. Then we wait for our Group B competitors. Brad Wooten, put your hands together for this man.
Lee. Awesome drive,
He's
mate.
done a good job, and he will come home with a win for the first race tonight for Group B. Well done, Wooten. Losh will get 2nd in his class.
He did well to come back like that.
Followed by Moz Moroz, who will take a podium for the opening round of this Roadster Rumble.
What's your incidents after the race as well, fellas? I'll still count.
Right, so we'll get the results up for you shortly, and we'll get set to go straight into race number 2. So there's your race 1 results. Brenton Hobson, 2 strong there from Patterson. Oliver, Wooten, Losh and Moroz taking out the top 3 in Group B. We'll head straight down to the grid shortly. Progressive grid should see the drivers starting from the position that they ended up in, I think. Let's have a quick look now. And we'll head down to the front row of the grid, which will be Hobson off the front row with Patterson, Oliver and Ridley off the second row, Coleman and Boyd round out your top 6. Glenn Boyd will start from 7th with Simon Joel Smith, Baker, Fenson, Dutch and Terry, so down in 12th place. 13th on the grid, Harrison with Logan, then it's Wooten and Losh, the first of our Group B drivers. Moroz and Harrison, Carriage and Seeger, McMahon and Canto in 22nd, and then it's Rasmussen down in 23rd, Greg Holmes rounding out your top 24. 25th on the grid goes to Connors, and I think we're about to go green here. We get straight into it with the second race, and we are about to race and get underway. So I won't go through the full order for you. Here we go. So Hobson off pole at the front, gets away nicely, almost bogs it down. They get away eventually. He definitely did bog it down, but he still beat Patterson off the line. Ridley jumped up a position. So did Wooten down in 14th place. He got away very well. So you can just hear the revs drop and then no wheel spin at all as they head down towards turn 1. The big send into turn 1 now, and it's going to be, I think, Hobson leading up the hill. It is from Patterson by half a second almost. It's a pretty decent run so far. Everyone getting through. No incidents to talk about just yet. Wooten there in 14th place, running. Oh, there's a spinner. Coleman's, I think one of them. Simon Joel Smith maybe has gone off as well. See in the background there's damage to one of the cars. Andrew Dutch, I think it is, on the inside with that damage. He's missing the front splitter for the 51 car. And wow, a big crash there for a fair few competitors. I think Walker with some damage, and who's that right at the back? Glenn Boyd. So, and Simon Joel Smith, the other one to really be hurt there, and Pears dropping 7 spots is lonely right at the back, and looks like it's got some damage as well. No worries for a Hobbo out in front though. Synergy Sim Racing driver leads at the moment by 0.7 of a second on this opening lap. Glenn Boyd was able to escape all the incidents this time around anyway. Continues on. We might try and have a quick look at what happened to sorry, that was Jack Boyd who escaped the incidents. Glenn Boyd was the one who didn't escape the incident. So let's have a quick look at a replay. Have a look. This is the opening lap up the hill. What happens here to Glenn? Does he get a bit of a push from behind maybe? Was he listed? No, there was a car loose. That was Simon Joel Smith. Just caught the edge of Glenn, unfortunately, sent him straight out into the barriers. So that is what happened there. And Simon Joel Smith, of course, equally will be punished and drops right to the rear of the field. Hobson leading. Good battle between Fenson and Harrison now brewing, and they're on the back of Scott Baker as well. Let's jump on board here onto the pit straight with Henry Fenson, 7th place, and trying to improve a 2:06 from a standing start there for Hobson. That is lightning. How's the overtake there down the inside? Lee Harrison gets a 2-for-1 deal. Like a thief in the night, he snuck through there and moves himself up into the top 6. He's made 7 positions up on the opening lap there, Lee Harrison. So beautiful drive. And for the man, our sole Facebook sharer of the stream tonight, Mr. Harrison, well done. He's really, really running beautifully again. Sean Doyle's another one, 13 positions he's made up the opening part of this race. Let's go back and have a quick look at Sean. And fighting here with Matt Tesseriro back in 13th place. And it's Ray Harrison. And John Thornton, another driver. We haven't spoken about John at all in the opening part of the race, but the opening race tonight. He's made up 13 positions into the top 16 in race 2 already, as Wooten continues to dominate Group B, doesn't he? He's already moved himself up 4 into 11th outright, Brad Wooten. So he's got great pace for a man that may end up knocking on the door of Group A and being moved up, depending on how much he dominates. I'm not sure exactly how they pick who's in what class and which group. They are different cars, so obviously the Group B cars are not as quick, as the Group A 2016 Cup cars. The 2010 Cup cars for Group B, I presume, a couple of seconds a lap slower. We'll keep an eye on the lap times as they unfold. Back to Jack Boyd and Ridley. This is the battle for 3rd place. They've also got Aaron Oliver tucked in behind there as well for good measure. Let's jump on board with Aaron and watch his draft down the pit straight, see what he can do here. Go back further into the heart of Group B now. This is, what is it, 1, 2, 3, 4th outriding class Jesse's running at the moment. Foz Riggs Racing Team. He's got Tyson Gordon and Wayne Losh just behind. You can see them battling wheel to wheel. And then Moz behind them. So all the Group B competitors here together. Greg Holmes in the background as well, with Anthony Connors chasing him down. There's Holmesy. Let's jump on board with him for a moment. Extreme Racing up the hill. You can see the gap back to, here comes Connors in the 81 car having a look. Group B, well placed banners on all of the cars once again this season. You can see Group B clearly on the number plate. Back off as well. He's back off, he says, as Connors gets closer. And look at Foster in the background. Mark Foster having a nibble down the inside as well. He has to be careful not to leave the door open for Steve McMahon, who won't need a second invitation. Sean Doyle in Group A now running 10th and 10th out of the Group A class. So impressed once again with Brad Wooten. Like I said, he's ahead of a couple of the Group A drivers.
Sorry, Sean, about that.
And holding his own, as Keith Logan, I think, has just had a bit of a come together there with Doyle. No love lost between them. There's Logan racing in 11th at the moment. So all sprint races throughout this season number 6, which is good. No need to fuel. Then we go, I think we have the odd 1 hour race where they will need to put a bit of strategy in, but these 3 sprint races tonight is all just about pedal to the metal, going as fast as you can go. And it's added excitement that we've got 2 classes out there racing amongst each other. On board with Brenton Hobson, looking back now. Hobson at the moment for Synergy Sim Racing, holding out a 0.3 of a second lead over Caleb Patterson and Jack Boyd. Good to see Jack back in this now. After an ordinary race 1, he'll challenge for the lead. Don't you worry, at some stage in this race tonight. Let's just stay on board with him and have a look at the data as he climbs the hill here. Just 120 kph, leaving the bottom of the hill. Crested about at 145, tucks it in, carries as much speed as he can. Bit of a slide, bit of a run up onto the sausage curve as well. And now heading down towards this big braking zone. Get up to about 175, 180 kph. And then fire it into the braking zone. He does. You can just see them behind the grandstand there. There they are from the long shot. Still holding together here for P3. Meanwhile, Patterson and then Hobson, who leads. The gap between those two, nothing. So the top 3 covered by 0.5 of a second. That's what we want to see. How about the Sparks there as they ride the sausage curb and actually canoes itself along and beaches for a moment there. Sparks flying everywhere. We start lap 5 now of 10. Second race, and once again Patterson just taking a couple of tenths out of Hobbo's lead, and he's going to go down the inside and have a look to moving up into the lead of the race at the halfway point. So he's happy to jump out in front, Caleb Patterson, and be a leader here for a little bit. Hobson will stay in second. Jack Boyd stays in third, being very, very watchful at the moment. Let's jump on board with Boydie. So Ray Morgan saying, anyone hit 15 incidents? Yeah, I don't know. We don't get incident points in our telemetry, but you're going to wonder, don't you, who's getting close and who's losing some championship points along the way. How good's this battle? This is it John Thorne? A bit of a cork in the bottle here. He's got a stack of drivers lined up behind him in this Group B battle. So Damien Seeger being the first lined up, then Wayne Losh is in there as well. There's 5 or 6 cars lining up to try and move forward. Then a secondary battle pack as well follows them with Moz and Dylan Canto's in there. Anthony Connors, Gordon, Holmes is in there as well. 5 or 6 cars all bunched together. Mark Foster's at the back of that as well in the green machine. Let's jump on board with Foster up the hill on the back of Holmes now. So the Group B to me is where the battles have been already tonight in the racing. So kudos to them. See the bug there splattering on the windscreen of Mark Foster's car. 25th. Now he started in 27th, so he's made a couple of gains this race and continuing to try and push forward. Meanwhile, as they head around through the twisty section, there goes the race leader down the pit straightaway, already starting lap 6. And look at the battle at the front. Once again, Hobson defensive. Patterson has a look at him. And holds on again. Boyd, I think, just biding his time here, sitting in P3. So Boyd with the lunge goes up into P2 now. That was a good move. Set him up now. He's got to be defensive until he can then re-engage with Hobson. So nice overtake there by Jack Boyd for Boyd Racing. Hobson still leads by car length in a bit. Caleb now into third. The gap back from third to fourth is out to 3.9 seconds now, so they've really blown that out. There is the juiced Frog Leap racing car of Kyle Ridley at the moment in fourth, leading Aaron Oliver. Lee Harrison's in sixth. Then you got Scott Baker, Henry Fenson just in behind him. There's Baker further back, Fenson in eighth in the Fenson Brothers racing car. And Sean Doyle, who's next in the queue, he's still fighting here with Coleman. Owen has been hounding him for lap after lap. We're only 6 laps in, so plenty of time still to go. And that battle back with Thorne, here it is, back in Group B for those that are interested. It's just a massive train of cars here. Thorne, Seeger, Moz, and you got Canto and Connors. They almost sound like they're pedestrian sounding cars, aren't they? They're very quiet. They're 2010. They don't have the same bark or raspy exhaust note the 2016 cars have, that's for sure. So good wheel-to-wheel battle again. Seeger fighting on the outside on Thorne, trying to get through. No luck there just yet. As Hobson starts lap 7 now, out in front. He's actually got that gap out now to about 4/10, just pulling away slightly on this lap at least from Boyd and Patterson. Boyd would love a win after race 1, wouldn't he? And he's been quick as well. The fastest lap of the race still goes to Jack Boyd, a 2-minute 0.4. That's 0.6 of a second. Quicker than Brenton Hobson, who's leading the race, his fastest lap. So it just goes to show, over a 1-lap dash, Boyd pretty much has this wrapped up. If he can just now try and find that leading track position, get in front of Hobson, which won't be an easy task, then he should be able to bring it home for a win in race 2 tonight. So 8 rounds for season 6. There is 1 drop round for all competitors. So if you have a shocker tonight, you can make that your drop round, but it does help keep things nice and competitive when you have at least 1 drop round. So Ray Morgan saying there's a fundraiser for Jack Boyd tomorrow night. Details are on the Rumble page on Facebook, so there you go. Head over and have a look at that fundraiser, see what it's all about. Further back, Doyle and Coleman. Let's go all the way back into the depths of Group B again. I love this. There's still this train of cars. Let's try and get a chopper shot. Show what I mean. Look at this behind Thorne. About 8 or 9 cars here trailing, all in close succession, which is great. Greg Holmes is at the back of this, having a bit of a dice here with Connors and Canto as well. So we'll stay on board here with Holmes and see if he can't get through. He's just backing out of the throttle. It's almost like they're fuel saving, but no need to fuel save in this race. It's a sprint. Yeah, good side-by-side racing. Holmes still holding onto that 22nd position. Further back, Roadster running in 32nd. Rodkin's there with him as well. A couple of these guys in the purple cars. Bit of a Twitch name on the side of that one. Racing fairway back. Tyson Gordon now under attack from McMahon. This is 24th position. Mid-pack battle. Maybe Ray can tell us a little bit about the fundraiser and I can talk about it on here, because I'm not well aware of what's going on with the Jack Boyd fundraiser, so let me know. We can speak about it. Owen Coleman, 9th place, chases down Boyd and Baker at the moment. Meanwhile, out in front, Hobson still with 2.5 tenths the lead over second and third, Jack Boyd. I reckon there's going to be some fireworks on the final lap of this race. I think Boyd is definitely biding his time. His best lap time 6 tenths quicker than the race leader. To me, that means he's just holding back, waiting for the right moment. And with a lap to go, I think we'll see him explode and try and outsmart Hobbo, which isn't an easy thing to do. Hobbo's been around for a while now. He's a wily old fox. So Ray saying he has an Aussie racing car racing at Sandown in the national titles next week. There you go. So Jack Boyd, a fundraiser over on the page. We'll see if we can't link that up as well. Is it on Facebook now, Ray? I might go and have a quick look whilst we're in the break between the two runs tonight, or else you can post me a link in the chat on Facebook would help, but I'll see if I can go find it as we get into the penultimate lap now. See what I can find with Jack Boyd racing at least. I know he's got the little Aussie racing car. Very, very cool little machine. There it is on your screen. He's currently sitting in P2 there. Let's see if we can find out some details for this this fundraiser. So the sun, once again, it's almost like clockwork, isn't it? The sun pokes out on lap 9. Track temp will just be going up slightly there. Ridley still in a fight here with Harrison. This is Lee Harrison. Oh, gets pushed a little bit wide there, Harrison. He'll lose out up the hill. Just clips the curb as well, ahead of Baker and Coleman. And then further back, there's still fireworks in Group B. It's still Wooten that leads, but check this out. It's like peak hour, Parramatta Road on 5 o'clock of an afternoon in Sydney. There are cars just queued up here to try and go somewhere. Seeger's in there as well. Moroz, and Connors, the two teammates, almost getting together there. So yeah, busy race, that's for sure. With one to go, this is where I expect to start to see Jack Boyd pull the punches. And I'll tell you what, Caleb Patterson, he's right there as well. Look at that aggressive exit of the final corner. Final lap of this race. This is where Boyd, I think, will make a move on Hobson. Hobson already moves to the right-hand side of the track. So he's covered off that line. Where's Patterson in all this? I expect to almost see 3 wide into the braking zone. Patterson's just getting the slipstream here off the back of Boyd. Boyd goes in. Hobson sends it down the inside. Boyd hangs on the outside. So good move. Where's Patterson in all that? He's tucked in behind, so somehow Boyd gets through. Hobson remains second and Patterson still in third. Let's jump on board with him as he watches these two dice in front. Watch for Boyd to move to the right-hand side of the track, cover off the braking zone here. Hobson, he knows, well, Hobson doesn't send it there. He's probably going to wait to the end of the back straight now, unless he tries a cheeky little overtake manoeuvre down the hill here, which is a bit of an off-cambered left-hander. And no, they hold station, so Hobbo will definitely be thinking now into the back straight. It's been a decent run for all these competitors. I think Harrison's maybe gone on. Oh, he just comes back on in 6th place. Harrison in a big duel back there as well. But here we go, onto the back straight, carrying as much speed as possible. Jack Boyd by 0.2 of a second. Hobbo's going to be hunting that lead down shortly. Will he do the big send down the inside? We've seen him do it before, Hobbo. Not close enough. So it's going to be Boyd, Hobson, Patterson heading up through the final couple of corners now. I don't think Patterson is going to be able to challenge the top two. It's going to come down to the exit out of the final corner now. You can hear the tyres just really working hard there. And now 2 corners to go. At this stage, looks like Jack's going to hang on for a victory in race 2 tonight. Through the second to last corner and onto the final pit straight they go. It is going to be a win here. Jack Boyd takes the checker flag in race number 2 ahead of Hobson by 2.5 tenths. Patterson gets 3rd position. So great racing in the background. You can see 4th place Aaron Oliver gets it ahead of Ridley and Baker. Then Harrison, Doyle to come through just ahead of Coleman. He's going to take that position ahead of Fenton as well. And then our group, we wait for Group B. Brad Wooten once again ahead of Losh. He's going to take out the Group B.
You good, Rose?
Full points here and in our second race for the night. So that's a good, really good performance ahead of Wayne Losh and also Damien Rasmussen to take out the top 3 in Group B. So good racing all around. We're going to get the results up shortly. We've got a short break before we then go to race number 3 tonight. Don't go anywhere. This is still a lot of fun to be had here on the Roadster Rumble, Race Stars TV. Your race results from the first race. Jack Boyd confirmed the winner there from Brenton Hobson, and then Caleb Patterson, your top 3. So we look down to the Group B run. Let's have a quick, we'll just modify it so we can just see Group B, and it was Wooten by 17 seconds. A dominant performance in Group B over Wayne Losh and Rasmussen, who got 3rd place in Group B. Righto, let's head down. We've got a quick warm-up session now. I'm going to take a quick break, get myself a drink, and then we will be back for our final race of today from the Roadster Rumble. Back within about 2 minutes. right, we're getting set now for our third and final race of the evening. It's Brendan Hobson and Keith Logan out there having some fun. Although turning it up, some sideways action. Well, go to that time of the night. We're about to go to the grid, and it will be your 40 favourite MX5 drivers doing one more 20-minute race, 10 laps around this Catalunya circuit for the Roadster Rumble here on a Monday night on Race Stars TV. Give me a R. Give me an O. Give me an A. Give me a D. Give me an S. Give me a T. Give me an E. Give me an R. It is the Roadster Rumble. Let's rock and roll. Let's get down to the grid for the start of race number 3. Big thanks to Greg Holmes and all his hard work in the background getting this series up and running. This is how they will grid up for the final race of the night, and it will be a front row start for Jack Boyd, although we'll start alongside him out of P2. Caleb Patterson from third on the grid. Aaron Oliver will start on the grid from fourth place. Fifth on the grid, it's Ridley with Baker, then Harrison and Doyle, Coleman and Henry Fenson rounds out your top 10. Harrison and Logan off the sixth row of the grid. Seventh row goes to Wooten and Tercero, and then you got Losh and Rasmussen, Carriage and Moroz, Seeger and Connors in 20th, and Greg Holmes in 21st, Simon Joel Smith 22nd, Martin Canto running out your top 24. 25th on the grid will be Foster with Gordon and Ellis and Linus, Doherty and Gogol down there in 30th, and it's Dutch, Paradiso, Rodkin and Roberts 34th on the grid, Thorne and Glenn Boyd. Unlucky in the second race, rounds out the 36, Ferguson, Pears, Nankara and Walker down the back for this final race of the evening. There is your grid of Mazda MX-5s. Let's get rid of the music. Let's crank up the sound and get ready to rumble here for the Roadster Rumble, our final race. 20 minutes, 10 laps around Catalunya. One of your favourite race circuits for the F1s. One of your favourite race circuits for the MX-5s as well. Big hold on the green. Lots of wheel spin. A bit of smoke as well. Boyd, did he get a good start? Yes, he did. He gets away nicely as they head down towards turn 1. Patterson in tow. Looking back in the order, Baker made up a position. Watch Patterson there, straight across in behind Hobson. Figures that getting the draft off Hobson is important. Into the braking zone they go, and up the hill for the first time. Check it out, Hobson leads. In behind him, I think there was a little bit of contact between a couple of competitors. Wooten still leads that Group B. He's been strong, hasn't he? Direct Clutch Motorsport once again on the back of the Group A's and hassling them as well. It's been impressive. They fan out. Patterson having a look down the inside. Baker's also having a big send now on Ridley, I think it was, and he holds on. Around the outside was Harrison and Doyle. Coleman in there as well. Baker does get through up into fourth. Now he has the outside line. I think Ridley will get back through into fourth, and then he disappears on us and reappears. So that's not the best for his connection right now. Harrison, Doyle, Coleman, Fenson rounds out the top 10, and Keith Logan on the back of your top 10 now, sitting right in behind Fenson, up one position off the start. It's a good get-go as they head up the hill for the first time, and it will be onto this back straightaway. Hobson leading. Although 88 leads Boyd and Patterson. The top three, they're already making a slight break here over Ridley as well as they fan out three wide in the background. And you can just see, where's Baker and all that? He's in the middle. No contact, good driving. Baker hangs on at the moment, and then he gets a bump. Oh, that's unsettled him too, so he's gone around. He won't be happy with that one. We'll see if there's a blow up on the radio. But he's going to have to rejoin here, and we'll lose a stack of positions down outside the top 20 now for the Southern Cross Racing driver with that little bit of a hit from behind. See it on the replay bottom of your screen as we watch the top three continue to battle at the front. So there's just a little bit of a bump. Unloaded the back end, unfortunately, of the car, which then spun him round. And that's how easy it's done. At 2:07.6 from a standing start. Not as quick as we saw in race 2 for Hobson. They continue to battle. Wooten still ahead of Losh by about, what is it? It's a couple of seconds, a bit close to this race. It's 0.7 of a second, in fact. So can someone here, Wayne Losh being my number one pick, give Brad Wooten a run for his money? Someone needs to try and give him a run for his money, because so far he's been way too strong. A lot of dirt on the exited turn 2 down there as well. Someone's dragged all that back onto the racetrack. As Aaron Oliver stays ahead of Doyle, Coleman, Fenson and Logan. To round out your top 10. Keith Logan into the top 10 now. Nice drive. Up 2 positions there for the Southern Cross racing car. So lap 2, 10. It's Hobson out in front. Let's go back into the depths of Group B again. Damien Seeger here, Rasmussen just behind him and Carriage just in front. They're all chasing down Moroz. Simworx Racing in 16th place. He made up 2 positions so far. He's got the upside down profile picture. Love it. And this little battle pack, you can see all the way down the order. There's another one with Rasmussen. And down the inside, that's Baker. Trying to get back into this after that bit of bad luck at the start. He does get himself back into 18th place now. Graham Ellis in 23rd. Holding on up 4 positions. And Andrew Dutch, who's just in front of him, is worth mentioning. He's made up 9 positions in this opening couple of laps here on the back of Connors. So good drive so far. John O'Thorne up 9 positions as well in 26th. And they're both ahead of Gorton and Boyd, who is fighting back after Glenn Boyd's unfortunate incidents in race 2 dropped him way back near the rear.
Right, Matt.
He's now had to fight through the order. So Coleman and Doyle fight over 7th, and he's gone very wide through there, and Doyle sneaks through and takes the position back. So just when he thought he'd got it done, undone. Top 5 have bunched up a little bit now. Patterson leading this race. Hobson, Boyd, Harrison and Ridley, your top 5. Fastest lap goes to Lee Harrison, who has just put in a 2-minute .72. I think the fastest lap we've seen tonight was a 2-minute .71. He's not far off at Lee, and he's just now caught the back of Jack Boyd. Can he challenge for a podium tonight as well, Lee, and get himself up into maybe a win? Remember the incident points now. They've got to watch running wide on that final corner because that will generate some incident points. And the new ruling for this season is every incident point after 5 means 1 point off your championship points. Now the other thing as well is if you can get a clean race with no incident points, you instantly get 5 bonus championship points as Hobson goes back into the lead now. Hobson's a very clean driver too, so he'll be aiming to get that 0 incident point races and get the bonus. He has complained earlier tonight about a bit of bump drafting and that contact which cost him some points. Since then I haven't seen any bump drafting, so I think the drivers have all realised now the consequences of that. And Hobson, who's got himself into the lead, will be hounded by these drivers. Ridley's on the back of that and they're not getting away. Aaron Oliver's trying to reattach as well. He's back about a second off the back of Kyle. If he can reattach and make it a 6-way battle for the lead, that'd be fantastic. Meanwhile, down in Group B, Wooten still leading that class ahead of Losh. Carriage, Moroz has just been overtaken by Dutch, who's one of the Group A drivers, finding his way back through the field. So he's now up 12 positions into the top 15. You'd probably think he can get to at least 15th from 19th where he is now by the end of this race, which will do his championship good, considering he's at the back of Group A at the moment. Then you got Seeger, Rasmussen's in there in 21st place, and Anthony Connors, all on the back of this little battle pack. So it's like a train They're all attached to the Group B drivers. And like I said earlier, they're a smoother sounding motor. They don't have as much rasp and bark as the 2016 cars, do they? So they're nice to listen to as Connors goes down the inside. Good move there. Can't make it stick on Rasmussen just yet, though, the Wave Runner performance. Synergy Sim racing car is hanging on the inside. They almost get together. Meanwhile, back at the front, Patterson just challenging Hobbo now for the lead of the race. Hobson, as we look for the onboard, look at Jack Boyd as well, making it 3 wide into the braking zone. So Boyd will move up into second place with that little move. Good effort. Now onto the back of your race leader, Brenton Hobson, at the halfway point of this race. So let's just run through the groups at the moment, the top 3 in each. It's Hobson leading Boyd and Patterson. You can see that on your screen now, but as we look back to the battle for Wooten, it was 17 seconds the victory in the last race. Now he's already got it out to just over a second to Wayne Losh, who's in tow, but then it's about 4.5 seconds back to the next driver, which is Jesse. There's Jesse now in P3 in Group B, so the top 3 much more spread out in Group B than they are in Group C. Moz Moroz running 4th in class, the Seeger 5th in class in P20 outright, the Extreme Esports WBT racing car there. So 20th place, the back end of that car just moving around. Bit of a lift off oversteer for him. But at the front, the top 3 covered by 3/10, so it's a little bit of a different story in the Group A tonight, and I think Patterson is trying to find a way through. The front of the car dips under brakes. Hobson's going to still lead it in, and watch out for Lee Harrison now on the back of Patterson. And Ridley, who has just been very watchful, is just driving here in 5th place as Harrison drags a heap of mud and dirt onto the racetrack. The Frog Leap Juice Racing Team driver who we're on board with now. Don't count him out for a podium tonight. I think he'll be there at the end if he can just keep this consistency up. Stay with him, keep the tyres nice and clean and in a good window. You might just find that he's there at the end for a podium. But Hobson has looked strong, hasn't he, throughout every race. I think Jack Boyd as well. When Jack's not getting turned around and put in the fence, he is definitely one to watch and pretty consistent to get himself a podium. Then Patterson, Harrison and Ridley, well, my guess is as good as yours. Who's going to take out that 3rd spot on the podium, if not higher? Way down the order, Darren Linus hasn't had much airtime tonight, so there he is. I'm trying to share it around this season as much as possible. It's a bit hard when no one's talking on the chat. You guys are going very quiet. It's very dead out there, so hello. Hello, anyone still watching. I know the drivers will watch this back, and maybe it'll encourage them to share it a bit more so their friends and family can ask for them to get a bit more airtime. Because at the moment, I'm just trying to share it around and see who's out there. Michael Nankara is just making a move here for 36th and 37th place in what looks like a car that's been splattered with paint for Nankara Racing, Group B competitor. So yeah, we'll keep flicking around, finding some different drivers we haven't spoken about yet tonight. One of them would be, who else have we got here down the back? We've got Scott Doherty. Haven't spoken about him, but there's the Doherty Racing car in 38th place at the moment. Cool beard in his picture there. Very cool. Back to the front. Here's the battle for first. It's 6/10. Sorry, it's just over a 1/10 of a second between the top 2. Behind them, Patterson still under pressure from Harrison. And then Sean Doyle is, oh, Harrison does have a look. Let's jump on board. That is so close, up through turn 2 into 3 now. just lifting off the throttle, trying to hold a constant throttle through there as you load the tyres up. And now he'll sneak across and try and run down the inside if he can into 4. So this is Harrison I was talking about. And he gets the job done, so into a podium position. Now he gets a bit of a contact for his troubles. And Ridley says, I'll have a couple of positions, thank you very much.
Come on, mate.
He comes through, and Patterson complains about it too. Not happy about it. Oh, and there's more contact there as well. And was that a bit of payback?
Gary something.
So a couple of big hits there, which
ruin your ride.
will give some damage to the car.
Just grown up for a few seconds for me.
I'm trying to see which Boyd that is chatting away there. Is it Jack or is it? I'd say it's probably Glenn. So Jack currently in 2nd place. This is the battle just for 3rd we're watching now. So Hobson and Boyd have now broken away a little bit, 1.6 seconds between 1st and 3rd. So it's definitely the Hobson and Boyd show out in front now with about 3 and a bit laps to go. And that battle for 3rd place between Harrison, Patterson and Ridley, they've started belting each other in the panels, and all of a sudden look how far they've dropped back. So they need to concentrate here, continue to push forward. Otherwise the best they're going to have on offer is a 3rd place for one of them at the moment. That is in the position of Lee Harrison, but not for long, because here comes Patterson.
Sorry, Andrew.
He's going to move alongside. You can see the damage on the front of that car as well. That's
We're
from,
having a good little couple there for a while.
that's from the contact.
Let's get through.
A couple of the drivers just saying they're having some good battles out there, some good tussles. So it's pretty busy wherever you look. Let's have a quick look for Matt, for Aaron. There's Matty in 13th place now in the Racing Image car. So 13th place, up 1 position on the back of Scott Baker as well. He's got Ray Harrison just behind him for Ray Morgan, who's asking. So there's Harrison as well. He's dropped 3 spots, unfortunately, just outside the top 10 in 13th place, 14th place in fact now for Ray Harrison. So there's a couple of your favourite drivers. Back with the lead battle, lap 8 of 10, and Boyd attacks. Hobson still holds onto the lead by 0.2 of a second. It comes down to the wire. Who would you pick out of these two to run it to the flag and take the win? Got to put a bit of money on Hob, I reckon, with all his experience, but Jack Boyd as well is phenomenal. Chuck him behind the wheel of anything, and he's dangerous. Dangerous in a good way. So there's a shot at your top 5. You can see the gap between 1st and 2nd, then 3rd, 4th and 5th. Down the pit straight, 2 laps to go. Nothing in it at the front between the top 2. Will Boyd dive out and have a look here? No, he's going to wait till the last lap, I reckon.
Go, Scooter.
Further back, Fenson alongside
Thanks, mate.
Simon Joel Smith. Behind them, Baker and Logan, the 2 teammates, having a bit of a chat there.
Sorry, man.
And oh, what's happened to Boyd? Did he just turn someone around? I don't think so. Maybe a bit of contact. There was a cloud of dust in the background. You can see it at turn 2. As Coleman and Boyd now, I think a redress is just going on there. It was. Sean Boyd has just dropped back in behind Coleman and Oliver. So you can see that damage on the front of, I think it's Oliver's car, as they lean on each other as well. Yeah, that front left of Oliver's number 70 car looks pretty ordinary. He's had a good old hit, I think, on the oh, look at the back of Boyd's car as well. They're all in the wars now with just on a lap and a quarter to go. Coleman hangs on, runs very wide. Got to watch that sausage curb.
That corner.
Oh, he says to Aaron Oliver too, you're not going to pass on that corner. So I love listening into the chatter here. You get some stuff that's a little bit hot.
A little bit of coffee, Scooter.
That's all part of it. That's what we love, listening to the race chat, the race audio. A couple of corners to go for this guy, and then he'll be one lap. White flag will drop. Brenton Hobson, can he hang on for a win? From Jack Boyd. Is Jack Boyd just hanging back? I think you're definitely going to see Hobson go defensive down the pit straight. Boyd will try something. How far across to the right-hand side of the track will they go to try and challenge this top position? As Boyd and Coleman, I think, still apologising to each other for the bump. One lap to go. White flag is out, and here we go. So to the right-hand side of the track, Hobson goes as far as he can go to the right. Boyd's going to go the long way around, and this will be interesting, won't it? So here's a long shot to show from the chopper view. Boyd's going to lead into the final lap. Hobson, the back end of the car comes out. He carries a fair bit of speed up the hill. But Jack Boyd, has he now done enough to take a win? Can he stay ahead of Brenton Hobson on this final lap? Baker and Fenson battle here over 10th place. Fenson goes through up into the top 10. Baker and Logan just outside the top 10 then. Tesseriro down in 13th as well, and Andrew Dutch. Great drive by him, up 17 positions into 14th.
Go through, Greg.
So that's definitely a memorable drive for him tonight in the Grindtech flooring car. But out in front, with just on half a lap to go, it's Boyd by a half a car length. 0.2 of a second. There's a shot looking back. Up the hill, Hobson will be looming. He'll have one more bite at him down into the tight end of the back straightaway. Probably it would be more of a braking zone if they use the F1 braking zone here, which really tightens up. But they're using the MotoGP, the longer version, which is much more flowing. You don't have to slow the car up as much. Look at Hobson, he closes right up onto the tail of Boyd, but that may have been the last opportunity to get through now. Boyd just needs a really good exit through the last couple of corners. The back end of the car still skipping around, trying to get away from him, but he's got a 3/4 of a second lead now, does Boyd, into the final penultimate corner, and then into the final corner. He's going to lead this home. He's going to take a win, surely now, through the final corner. There's the gap back to Hobson. It's the job done, and it will be Jack Boyd taking a win in the feature race tonight. He takes the win from Hobson, and Caleb Patterson gets on the podium, P3, ahead of Harrison, Ridley, Coleman. Simon Joel Smith will come through to take 7th. Good job for him tonight. Had a good battle with Boyd there. And Aaron Oliver in 9th will round it in 9. Baker will get 10th place.
Sorry, Keith.
So Scott Baker in 10th ahead of Fenson.
All right, Matty, you all right? Fair and square, mate, you all right?
Let's see who's going to win Group B. It's none other than Brad Wooten with a clean sweep tonight. He has been incredible. And he's going to come through and take out
Good race out, Aaron.
15th place outright, but more importantly, a triple win in class. Great drive tonight from that man on your screen right now, Mr. Wooten. We'll bring you the results shortly for the whole race tonight, and then we'll wrap it up with some interviews before we finish for the night. Thanks for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We'll have the top drivers joining us shortly in the comm booth. We're just waiting now for the results to be sent across from iRacing, and we'll wait for Jack Boyd to join us as well. But great drive from go to way really for Boyd. He had to fight back after that spin in race 1, but he's come back really strong in the second 2 races tonight. Let's bring him in for a chat now and congratulate him on what was a really hard-fought final race there with Hobson. Well done, Jack. You're on the top step of the podium tonight, mate, in the final race. Well done throughout the event tonight. You had to fight your way back after race 1.
Yeah, thanks, man. It was Yeah, it was pretty hard after the first race. I got collected pretty hard, which was it was all good, but yeah, it made it pretty hard. Yeah, I think I got back to like 6th or something after that first little crash, and yeah, had fun coming back through the field for the last 2 races.
How's the track for these cars, mate? It's pretty flowing. We saw a lot of sideways action. Obviously, going sideways isn't the fastest way. You'd know that from your Aussie racing cars, mate, but it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, unfortunately, sideways is not quick, but yeah, it does look cool, and yeah, it was a bit hard. Like I think they've changed this car a little bit. The first lap or so was pretty sketchy with the cold tires, and yeah, I think that played a big part in a couple of crashes on the opening lap there. So yeah, it was good fun, a lot of sideways stuff, and yeah, it was good to see a pretty big field as well.
Yeah, 40 cars out there again to kick off a new season of the Roadster Rumble. Greg does a great job putting it together, and good to see people out there backing him with yeah, good field of cars, and 2 groups as well tonight, so Group A and Group B. Makes it a bit more simple at my end, and I think the racing's much better for Group B as well. We saw a heap of battles down there. But Caleb, you're here as well for 3rd place tonight in that race. Well done, mate. You were knocking on the doorstep of podium all night tonight, and you've got yourself another P3.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it was a hard night, and the boys raced really well. So yeah, just happy to be, on that podium spot.
Some good hard battles, mate. You had was it Lee Harrison there? There was a bit of bumping going on as well in the background, but all fair in love and war.
Yeah, that's it. Bit of biff and barge. I guess rubbin's racing, and if you're gonna make a move, I guess make it stick. And yeah, no, it was good fun. Really good fun.
And P2 in the final race tonight, Brenton. Well done, mate. You had a good race. You got yourself a good result in a couple of the races as well. But, mate, good clean racing again with the MX-5s. You're back. You love it. It's good to see a Monday night challenge happening again with all these cars.
Yeah, this league's a heap of fun. That's why I keep coming and doing it. These cars just always put on good racing. It's a little bit of a different approach to usual, because the new way that the incidents are penalised more than anything. There's bonus points for not getting any, but the penalties you get for only getting up more than 5 incidents in a race, pretty extreme. So it's a bit of a different approach to usual this season. We've got to sort of try and keep it super clean and stay within the lines, So a little bit different, perhaps a little bit less aggressive, and a little bit more strategy around how we hit the track. So either way, it doesn't change a lot. They're a lot of fun. They're close, and yeah, the racing's always good. And
the little bump draft made in race number 1, we heard you on the radio just saying, "Come on, mate, that was 4 incident points." Does that affect the total, or is that something you can challenge later and ask the admin to take that off a bump draft 4 points? 4 incident points.
As far as I'm aware, that's just 4 points. Bad luck with it. But I was stressing because in the warm-up session, because I didn't get any time to practice, I never do, but yeah. I jumped in the warm-up and I didn't get a single clean lap in, and I got an off-track on my first quali lap as well. So I was very conscious of the fact that off-tracks around here are very, very tough, and if you're pushing the car, and I had 4 at the end of the first lap or something, and I'm like, I've got to go 10 more laps without only getting 1 more. You've got to be kidding. And then the irony of all that is I didn't get another one for the entire night, but the it was playing on my mind. I'm like, I don't need this right now, because it wasn't unnecessary. Like, it was unnecessary for a 4X, but we bump drafting these things all the time. You've seen it time and time again. Yeah. Of course, a lot of the time you wouldn't get a 4X for that, but I think it was because of where it happened right at the end of the straight, where there was enough closing speed that it triggered the 4X, and I was like, no.
No, it's good to watch again tonight. So we'll do top 3 thank yous before we move over to Group B. Starting with you, Jack, winning the final race tonight. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, just a big thanks to you for coming back for another season. Yeah, thanks to Greg for putting all the work in and obviously doing all the admin side of everything. It's really good that there's another season. I know for me, I love coming back Monday nights and having a good fun with the guys. So yeah, it's awesome that it's back. And yeah, just also a big thanks to Simworx and Palmer's, who are my personal supporters and also, yeah, really good supporters of the league. So thanks, guys. And
quick plug, Jack, I know there's a fundraiser, is that right, for you and your Aussie racing car?
Yeah, so tomorrow night we're running a little fundraiser night to try and raise a little bit of money to get to Sandown for the last round of the series. So yeah, that's pretty amazing, to be honest. The support I've received is amazing, and yeah, hopefully we make it. Should be a good bit of fun. Legend car at Sandown on iRacing, so yeah, it should be good.
Awesome, mate. And how much fuel do you use in a Legend car over a race at, say, Sandown in real life?
It'd probably be 800, like just under a litre. They don't use much fuel. They're just a little motorbike engine, so yeah, not a lot of fuel.
What I'm trying to get at is how much would it cost you for a race weekend in fuel?
With the current prices, not cheap, unfortunately. So yeah, probably 60 litres all up. So yeah, not cheap, probably, and at least $200 worth of fuel for the weekend. But yeah, it's all good, all part of racing.
There you go, mate. Hopefully we can raise some money to help you out on your causes tomorrow night. So well done again tonight, Jack. Great to see you racing, and good luck, mate, with the real world stuff as well. Brenton, P2, who would you like to thank, man?
Just everyone for coming back and having a run again in this season. Obviously to Greg for all the work that he puts in. It's tireless effort on his end to get this up off the ground for us all to come and have fun and enjoy ourselves. So obviously a huge shout out to him and all the sponsors attached to the league too that tip in some dollars and bits and pieces where they can to help out. It all helps. And obviously to you as well for coming back and broadcasting. It's always awesome to go back and check it out. You do a great job. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. And then finally in our Group A drivers, Caleb. Well done, mate, on the podium. Who'd you like to thank?
I'd like to thank you, Luke, for coming back this season again, and Greg for all his effort he puts in making this league run. And just a couple of the real life sponsors, Roost Based Renovators, my main sponsor, and Petters G-Bung 4B Business Group, and that main message, hashtag it ain't weak to speak, putting it out there. So.
Good on you guys. So our top three in Class A tonight, Jack Boyd, Brenton Hobson and Caleb Patterson. I'm not sure of the actual round results, but well done to the top three there, and thanks for coming in for a chat. All right, let's go across to Group B now. And Brad, mate, clean sweep, I think it was, by the looks of things. You looked in a class of your own out there, but you've got some great competition who I'm sure over the next 7 rounds are going to come back at you. So well done, first of all, Brad Wood.
Thanks, buddy. It was a good couple of races. The starts are very interesting when we get a good hole shot and we're in the back of the 2016 cars.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, once you get through that, it's pretty good, I think. So, and the guys behind, let's hope we can have some good races coming up.
Yeah, great racing. And Wayne P2, mate, you also were right there, not too far behind Brad, and obviously you're looking forward to challenging him over the next 7 rounds, yeah?
Yeah, I need to do a little bit more practice, I think. I can nearly keep with him for the first half of the race, but he's just a couple of tenths a lap, and then all of a sudden he's out of my toe and he just drives away with it. So I need to smarten my act up a little bit there. So, but I'm sure I can challenge him sometime in the next few races.
Mr. Consistent, yeah, you gotta just get into that rhythm and stay with him if you can. But great drive, mate, for P2. And Moz, finally, third, mate, in class there. Good drive, 17th outright. Well done.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Yeah, it was rough out there. I got caught up in the lap 1 carnage, so which it wasn't the best strategy, because really you want to be behind Wayne and Brad, who's a machine in this car.
Yep.
And then we just got caught up in our own fight, but it was pretty good out there. It was good racing. It was excellent fun.
Well done. Let's do some quick thank yous, and before we finish up, Brad, who would you like to thank, mate, for a win in class tonight?
I thank Direct Clutch Services in Brisbane, the admins and Greg for everything they do with the league, and then yourself at Race Stars TV for the broadcast.
You're welcome, mate. Great job tonight. Wayne, P2 in class, who would you like to thank?
Just Simworx has been a major sponsor, and all the other sponsors, and Greg for all the tireless hours he puts into making us all show up on Monday nights and have a ball racing.
Yeah, he definitely does a good job at that. And Moz, finally, third in class, mate, tonight for Group B. Who would you like to thank?
Yeah, big thanks goes out to Simrigs, Palmer's, Greg for doing a great job, and my teammate Anth. Well done, mate. Thanks for painting the cars.
Excellent job, mate. The cars look good out there. So thanks to our top three in Class B, and we'll see you next week, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Luke.
Thank you.
Cheers. So good night of racing again for the MX-5. So my big thanks to Greg, as everyone has just reiterated there in the thank yous. He does a tireless amount of hours to make this league what it is, and thanks to all the sponsors as well. Without them, this wouldn't be happening. So big thanks, and a big thanks to you guys for tuning in, those that shared the stream, those that hung around for the chat. Jody there saying thanks for the broadcast. You're very welcome, and thanks everyone else that is involved. We'll do it again next Monday night for round 2 of the Roadster Rumble. Until then, I'm Luke. Take care. Good night.